He emptied himself and took the form of a slave, being born in the likeness of men. He was humbled even to the point of death, even death on a cross. These are the words we hear in our first reading from St. Paul to the Philippians, telling them that they should take on the same attitude that is theirs in Christ Jesus. This is a famous Christian hymn that was likely kind of imposed into Paul's, like something that people would be already kind of proclaiming that Paul would have put into his own letter. This Christian hymn that really sums up well the incarnation of Jesus for us, how he humbled himself and took on the form of a slave, how he didn't cling to his divinity, but came among us human beings and was like a slave then, and became obedient even to death. This is the attitude that St. Paul urges us to take on as well. And it's the same attitude that, interestingly, we find in the saint that we celebrate today, St. Martin de Porres. St. Martin was the son of a Spanish man, a Spanish colonist, and a black woman. And he lived in Lima, Peru. When he was young, he studied medicine, and that helped him greatly when he grew up, and he became a Dominican, and he served the poorest of the poor on the streets of Lima. He always put others before himself, always very humble in all that he did. It was said that he was always known to have a broom in his hand, always cleaning up after others, but always serving others as well. He always put others before himself. It was said at his canonization mass that he loved others because he honestly looked on them as God's children and his brothers and sisters. He loved them even more than he loved himself, considering them more righteous than he was. He always saw the best in other people and always wanted to serve other people for their good and not for his own. So I think today it's a great time for us to look at ourselves and ask the Lord to help us to be more humble, to stop thinking so much about ourselves and what we want and what we're doing, but ask the Lord to help us to be more outward looking, to look more at the needs of others, to look more at how we can help other people, especially the poor. And that we might have that same attitude that St. Martin had, but also that attitude that is ultimately in Christ Jesus, who humbled himself even to the point of being a slave and even to the point of death on a cross. And we still see Jesus humbled every day when we go to Mass and we see him in the Eucharist, being bound by under the appearance of bread and wine, but truly present with us in that sacrament. So let us put on that attitude of humility that Jesus put on, that we might serve the poor and be Christ's light to the world.